Shounen action anime, the most popular genre of the whole lot. Well, maybe second to ecchi, but that's debatable. Just a general rule to my lists are that I do my very best not to recycle as much as what most other people do, as I have a stronger desire to suggest you animes to watch, and also people, if you don't see any of your favorites, don't take it personally, as I either haven't watched the show you wanted or it's on another list. So before we proceed, click that like button, and now we shall proceed. Project K, or K as some refer it to, is quite the beautiful anime praised for its visuals and intriguing premise. For me personally, K had a lot of potential which in my opinion felt rushed towards the end, as from what I can recall, the start was great, middle of the show ultimately sucked, and towards the end shit got really good and unpredictable in some ways. The action did suffice for a 13 episode show, but nothing much in comparison to much else. But if you're looking for a good looking anime with an upcoming war and gangs, then you can't go wrong with Project K. Elfen Lied, well, Elfen Lied, whatever you want to call it, is one of the bloodiest, gory anime I've seen to this day. The story is pretty mediocre, yet tragic and fucked up in so many ways. The best way I can describe the action is that you'll get blood, decapitation, and flying body parts. The story revolves around Lucy, a mutated homo sapien, aka Declonius, I hope I pronounced that right, who has a split personality between being an airhead that can only communicate through a word, and then we have Lucy, the character that has the memories and can communicate and kill anything that comes her way. She essentially escapes this laboratory run by the government, and then from there she meets a guy that provides him shelter whilst the government send out other Declonius, I really should look up that word, to forcibly bring back Lucy. Not exactly a high recommendation on my part, but worth a watch. Black Bullet, an anime set in the post-apocalyptic like scenario where humans have been defeated by these ugly looking creatures known as Gastria, and thus humans are trapped behind these walls to protect them from even more Gastria from coming in. The story focuses on Satomi Rentaro, a civil officer, and his cursed lolly partner Enju, carrier of the Gastria virus, which enables her to do super awesome supernatural stuff that normal girls shouldn't really be capable of. Essentially, throughout the series you'll see both of them take on missions as well as preparing for the overarching story of the whole anime, leading up to this war up ahead against a whole army of Gastria. My thoughts on the series is that it wasn't as bad as I feel people exaggerated it to be, although the start was pretty rocky for me personally, but I loved the action, the discrimination, the soundtrack, and as for the characters, I liked them all, except our main guy Rentaro was pretty mediocre at best for me. However, the ending got me really excited for a potential second season, which I sure as hell hope gets put through. Even if it doesn't, I can still say Black Bullet was a fun run indeed. HITSUGI no CHAIKA is a pretty enjoyable anime if you are looking for an episodic styled anime that hits the refresh button after every episode. The action in this series is no exception, where we have two saboteurs who have been training since kids and can prove to be even more extraordinary when they go red. CHAIKA as well is pretty interesting with her big ass sniper shooting high precision spells as a wizard. The show generally revolves around her and her bodyguards, who are there to assist her in gathering the remains of her father to give him a burial. Through this, they come across many adventures, encountering creatures and some interesting mystery to CHAIKA's identity. DEADMAN Wonderland is one of my favorite shonens of all time, in this case the manga. The story revolves around Gunter, a middle school kid who got framed for killing his entire class and now thrown into a prison called DEADMAN Wonderland. The story itself is all about survival of the fittest, as Gunter and many other prisoners are forced to take part in certain activities to get a piece of candy that will stop their collar from exploding and decapitating their heads. Once you see Gunter develop his powers, you know that he would need some supernatural beings like himself to go head to head against, and in this case it is done through one-on-one duels, with the loser having to pay the price, so a penalty game at that. However, in this situation you lose practically anything from you, all determined by a slot machine and a sadistic doctor. My thoughts on the anime is that it definitely lacked a lot of what the manga had in store, but due to anime studios' greed nowadays and wanting to make quick money over providing entertainment, DEADMAN Wonderland was a sad victim to that backwards ideology, and therefore it will take something short of a miracle of making a comeback for season 2. If your choice didn't make it on here in this video, it may do for the next part. Now I ask you for what your top shonen and action anime series are. Leave your responses down below and make sure to drop a like and subscribe to keep up to date with the release of the other parts, and here's the rest if you're watching this like years from now.